10,
9, 8,
7,
6,
3,
2,
1.
0.
What's up, everybody? We're gonna do the season 7 awards show. We'll release the All-Stars also. To here with me to do that, we got Gollum.
Hello.
We got Willow over there.
What up? Willow in the
And
house.
we got Goose behind the camera.
What's going on, everyone?
What's up? So this season, we're all little mini versions of ourselves. We look very cute in here. And Goose is a big giant monster behind the camera right in front of us over there. So this one will be fun. I thought we looked much funnier this way, so let's roll with it. But let's go ahead and get right into this. So what we're gonna do is what we typically do. We'll start off with just the stat category leaders, and then we'll get in. After that, we'll get into the categories that you guys voted on, and we'll go through all those. And then at the end of it, we'll announce who the All-Stars are. And that'll be the show. So let's go ahead, hop right into this. We got our first category coming up. First stat category is total time played.
Hell yeah. So we have 2 runners-up for this category of total time played. We have Lobster Master from Rook and War Nurse over on Sith. You want to go ahead and tell us, Willow, who won?
Yeah,
category?
definitely. I love when teams like this come up here. And the winner is going to be Lobster Master from Rook, Warner's from Sith, right behind Lobster Master having 471, Warner's having 462, like right on the heels, 9 minutes difference. But I love when the kind of sprinter teams come in or walker teams or and like they're grinding this, it's early in the season and they're coming in and they want to get as far as possible. I always find that way more fun and entertaining and shows the dedication more than when some super veteran player is just like continues playing the game nonstop. Like I like seeing new players come in and absolutely grind and get recognized for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, this is definitely a category of like it shows who the team carries are.
Yeah.
So to get that much time, it means you've played pretty much every map that you were available to play for your team, and your team relies on you because they put you in there so much. So that's like you said, newer players. Lobster Master, I think, is second season with us, maybe third.
Maybe third.
But
Yeah,
already,
third. It's
already
5, 6,
made the
7.
carry for. Yeah, and Warner's, of course, great player also. So it makes sense that he'd be a carry for his team. So yeah, so congrats to Lobster and Warner's most time played. Our next category is total maps played. It's kind of a similar category.
And for total maps played, oh man, we got a lot of names on here. Between Lobster Matter, Rapscallion, Servoid, Mini Turret, and I think Castle Sandman and Sugarcane also are up there for total maps played. Who ended up taking this between this large pool of people?
My goodness, there's a lot of ties going on here. For the winners of total maps played, all with 27 maps, is Lobster Matter, Willow, Rapscallion, Servoid, and Mini Turret, all with 27 maps. Castle, Sandman, and Sugarcane, each with 26. Very impressive putting the maps in, especially, no surprise, I think, for the total time played, also having a total maps played here.
Yeah.
That'd be a really weird situation if that wasn't the case, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be a weird situation, except Warner's isn't there, so he is one of the
That's
higher
true.
total time
That's
played people,
true.
but less. I mean, that could just be that like their maps go for a long time,
Guess so.
maybe a few
True.
less immediate stomps or whatever, a little bit of a harder schedule. But this is the first time we've had this many people tying for most maps played. It's always been like maybe 2 people tied for first place.
Like played in
runner-up.
almost everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just, to get to 27 maps, 26 maps, if you think about it, we have 12 matches, and that would be 24 maps minimum. So all these people played multiple control points. So just very, very close matches. which is a good thing. You want to see close matches and you want to see control points. So we had a lot of them this season, which means teams are getting matched up well with each other. And then that's every single person on that list again is a carry for their teams. And you see Servoid and Mini Turret C2 there on the same team. So like basically every single match, those two guys are their anchor on those teams. So yeah, congrats to all you guys. Having the availability is one thing. If only more people had those availabilities, that would be awesome for the league. But
we ain't in COVID
congrats on
anymore.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next category is captures. That's basically that's just how many buttons hit, not actual captured points, but buttons hit.
We've got 2 people going head-to-head in this category. Kyron over on Fire and Greedy Guy on Undog, the top 2 players in this category. Who ended up taking the gold here?
Yeah, some new names coming up, and we're going to see the winner here is going to be Greedy Guy from Undog with, 652, blowing out Kyron from Fire at 494. That is a huge gap. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is a lot of captures. I didn't even know it was really possible to get that many captures in just one season.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, I'd be interested to see how many control points Underdog has, because last season Rapscallion dominated that, but he also had the most maps, the most control points, so he won out on all these stats. So it's interesting to see it. I mean, Rapscallion again had the most maps played, but isn't leading these other categories. So newer players, the Greedy Guy up there with the buttons being a total button slut. Chiron being another one too. It's also funny and unfortunate, I guess, for Underdog that everyone just reads their name as Undog, which means nothing at all instead of Underdog.
Non-dog.
So
I never thought of that.
It happens all the time on casts. It's happening here. It's funny to me. I've done it myself too, but yeah, I just like throwing some shade.
Classic.
All right, let's get to the next category. We got counters.
All right, counters. Very similar to the last one. We got Shingeki from Emu, and then Drewy and Firehorse, both from Emu. Emu dominating in counters this season, I guess. And who's going to end up taking counters here, Gollum?
Let us see. Taking a look here. Shingeki on Emu is going to take the win. 99. 99. So close. One more. And they would have been in that triple digits.
Wow, Shingeki.
Still very impressive that Drewy and Firehorse managed to get 83 here, all things told. But that's a lot of Emu representation in this category.
Yeah.
Who thinks up with that, guys?
Shingeki, you remember that one time that you were going to go for that counter and you're like, Firehorse has it, and you went the other way and Firehorse countered. You screwed yourself, bro.
Yeah.
You could have had 100 counters, but no, dude. But no.
Yeah,
I mean, counters is one of those stats that it's like you don't necessarily want to be the highest in counters because it means your team's getting almost capped on a lot. But at the same time, it's you saving your team from getting capped on. So it's sort of a double-edged stat. But it's still good work by these 3 guys getting that many counters, keeping the team alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, definitely a little bittersweet.
Right. Yeah, really. So let's move on to the next one. Push time. This is always a fun category.
Push time. My
Who's the
favorite
biggest
category.
bitch?
My favorite category. Of course, I didn't play this season, so I'm not in contention here.
Yeah, loser over here.
And the winner is Column somehow.
Hell yeah.
Crusader VR's pissed.
So,
like, what? How?
Over on Phoenix, we have Brackers. On UNSC, Crusader VR. Both these players head-to-head in this category. Who ends up taking the win?
For push time, we're going to see the winner is going to be a Brackers from Phoenix.
Wow.
Oh, man. Destroying Crusader with 1640 to Crusader's 1572. Now, here, really, you can say, Crusader, those few times you didn't hop on cart. You focused the kill. That it came to bite you.
Crusader. Classic Crusader. We all know
not
him.
right
Does
enough
not
cart.
play the objective at all. All about kills. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to have that guy.
Crusader could have been a good kart rider, but just really isn't. Always coming in second place.
Right.
Just,
If this is your first awards ceremony, you watching in the audience, yes, I'm talking to you specifically. You know who you are. Crusader is always up on this category anytime he plays.
Every time.
I mean, he went against me. He won against me season before that. He's a very good objective player. So that's even a testament to just how much Abraxas was on that payload, moving it. This season, that he blew him out of the water by almost 100 seconds. Like, that is very impressive. So congratulations to Abraxas there.
Yeah, I don't know if Abraxas has been up this high in this category before, so I don't know if something changed this particular season that he put more focus on it, or if he had more maps played or what, I don't know. But congrats, Abraxas, first time being up here, winning it. Good shit, because every team needs that objective person who's willing to just sit on the objective. It's not as much fun as going out and like seeking out kills and whatever. You're just sitting there on the cart, and if your team's doing their job, then nothing happens to you on the cart, and you're just sitting there rolling. But you get to win this category, so there you go. There's your consolation prize. We'll go ahead and move on. The next one we have here is terminal interactions.
Terminal interactions.
We're going to see the two contenders here, Castle from My Very Own Life and Noble from Wolf, which no surprises to see these two here at the top. Who's going to end up taking the lead on terminal interactions here?
Taking a look here, the winner is Castle. Woo! Over on Life, 2,620. Noble on Wolf, really close, 2,601. Only 19 interactions difference. That is a crazy slim margin for this category. These guys putting in a lot of work in being on the front lines, or even just like the mid lines, just trying to be involved in everything all the time. Like, it really shows anytime you watch any of their matches for Wolf or Life what these guys do to get that done.
Yeah, and again, Noble, if he had just not stopped to pick his nose those few times or just scratch his ass.
If he had died 19 more times.
Right.
He doesn't even need to get killed.
He would have died 19 more times. So a lot of people, I think, still might be a little confused as to what terminal interactions even is. And that's just every time you encounter somebody, an enemy, and one of you dies. So if you guys encounter each other and you throw a few bullets, but then someone runs away, that doesn't count as a terminal interaction. So there's more interactions that happen than actually what this shows. But what this shows is that you have, the people higher on this list, they are getting into the action super rapidly, and they're being effective getting kills. Like, I doubt there's anyone super high on terminal interactions that's there because they die all the time.
I mean, Castle, he died like 2,600 times in his matches, right?
Yeah. Well, not someone that only dies all the time and doesn't get the kills to match it, to get close to that 1 KD. So usually the people at the height of this list are people who are either going out or sidelining and stacking up kills. At a rapid pace. So this is always a stat I think gets overlooked, but it's super important to see who the active players are getting out there and getting shit done.
Yeah, so that's the great way to put it. They're the ones who get it done. And I think it's really common to see the people who get top kills also be the ones who got top terminal interactions. I know the season that I got top kills, I also got terminal interactions, and I think terminal interactions per minute. Like, it means that you're just moving everything forward. You're keeping everything rolling.
You're forgetting that season you also had top deaths.
I did. So, no, not that season. I think I was in second or third place for that season.
Well, I'm sure it'll come around sometime. But what we got up next?
Yeah, so next we have terminal interactions per minute. Now, for all these stat categories, we didn't have any qualifiers at all. It's just whoever led the league, regardless of how many maps you played or whatever. And that's fine for like the totals categories, but any of these ones that are like per minute or KD, we put a 10 map qualifier on those. You had to play, at least 10 maps for your stats to sort of hold out and be considered among the top stat leaders. Because if we don't do a qualifier for these per minute stats and KD, then it's always someone who played 1 or 2 maps that wins these categories. So you have to have some qualifier somewhere to really pull out who was leading that category throughout the whole season. So terminal interactions, take it away.
Speaking of qualified individuals, my goodness, I don't know if anybody really is going to be surprised that EP and Koala are up here. Who ended up taking the win?
Well, a little early graphic, Evil Pancake ended up taking it, which I think we know who the better D member is now. Yeah. I mean, it's been confirmed. EP barely taking the terminal interactions per minute with 6.93 and Koala getting 6.53. That's crazy. That means that they're getting kills or getting killed basically 7 times per minute, which is, I mean, you include a 5-second respawn timer. That means you have to be getting a ton of kills and just like, basically getting 5 kills and then dying twice.
It
Like that's
averages
crazy.
averages to more than 1 kill or death every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
More than that for both of them.
That's a lot.
And for these
That's
two guys,
crazy.
obviously, it's mostly kills.
Right.
Like they're always high on the KD list and everything like that too. So it's they're sitting there mostly just stacking up kills. Speaking of who's the best on D, I DM'd both Evil Pancake and Koala one time like this season and asked them if they do like one of the 1v1s we were doing, for a 3D model
Right.
pistol,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. Ignored by both. Ignored by both.
Mhm.
It would have been a good 1v1. Anyway, we'll move on. Next category we have is total score. So again, no qualifier for this one. This is just total score.
Total score is going to be between, I think this is pretty unsurprising. We got .com from Phoenix and Servoid from Control. 2 players that just are always moving, rolling, getting buttons pressed, getting kills. Who ended up taking this one, Gollum?
The winner of total score in all of Dash League this season is going to be Servoid on Control. 254,592.com. 251,654 total score. These guys are so fast and so in it all the time. .com has always been very fast and very in it, and he's been getting more and more up in your face type strategy as he's developed over time. Servoid has always been a very good player, let me be clear, but he really surprised me this season with his performance and with his ingenuity in like his movement and his stepping up to the plate, as it were, for Control to try and be that forward guy. And clearly that result is showing here with him winning out the category. So congratulations to both these players, though, regardless, for getting such high score and so much going on for their team.
Yeah. I think .com has won this one multiple times. Like he's just so fast. He's a score whore, clearly. And you see earlier that Servoid was one of the top maps played, 27. But .com is not up there on total maps played. So if .com played, the difference here is what, 3,000 points. So if .com had played one more map, he would have had it again this season. And maybe I don't know, maybe .com played all of the Phoenix matches. They just had some less than control.
No control points or anything.
But yeah, I mean, so many people wanted Servoid to be nominated for like most improved too, but like the most improved category is for some no name who has like now made a name for themselves. Basically, it's like this is someone that no one's really thought of, being one of the top players or whatever, but now they're in that conversation. And Servoid's always been in that conversation before he was even in the league. So putting him up as most improved just doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, he has had a stellar season playing 27 maps, and he's just a consistently strong player. So of course, when you get that many maps in there, you're going to be all over these these leaderboards.
I mean, really, both of them. Yeah. Like, if I can get to the numbers a little bit here. I mean, look at the push time. Servoid's got 305. .com's got 297. Counters is 49 to .com's 48. The captures, I think, really the only thing that let Servoid win this is he got 30 more captures than .com. You can see like the kills per minute, the accuracy, the push time. Like, it's all almost identical. I mean, these two players were head to head. They didn't even know it of like being top players for the whole season.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I see here on the stats. I wasn't watching the stream, but I see here on the stats, .com is 2 maps behind. So if he had gotten, if they had one more control point or something like that, then these might have been flipped. But that just goes to say, like, both of these guys fill up the stat categories, both super strong players, and well deserved. So we'll move on now to score per minute. So again, this one, the per minute stats get a 10 map qualifier. You had to play at least 10 maps. But who do we got here?
Well, we got 2 very unsurprising contenders here. We've got Evil Pancake from Life, and we've got Koala from Envy, fighting for score per minute. Unsurprisingly, 2 crazy players. Gollum, who ended up being the better D player?
These guys are crazy. They are just so insane. Evil Pancake, once again, is taking the win over your boy Koala with 639 versus Koala 626. But like, it's basically a coin flip at this rate. Which of these guys is going to be dominating either of these categories if they're both active and going against each other? I mean, both of these guys have played this game for such a long time. They're pretty good friends as well, even like beyond just Hyperdash, and the competitiveness between these two can really show in all of their matches. But once again, Evil Pancake stepping up for life is taking the win here, and it's very surprising to see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something.
I think. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's surprising looking at the data on this one that like again their captures and counters and kills per minute and stuff. Pancake's actually behind. Like Koala has almost double his push time, but Pancake barely still scooped it out, which is like I'm very surprised that he was able to pull that off. I know that like riding cart and hitting buttons is really where you get your score, and even though all those were the same, Pancake still is on top.
Yeah, but I mean, with those guys, just the sheer numbers of bodies they drop, they get a lot of score from damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been on the devs for a while about separate, like giving us a more complete scoreboard to look at and having like objective score and damage score separate so that we could, tease those out differently. Because that would tell us so much more information, but we don't have that. But anyway, yeah, these guys, I mean, talking about Servoid and .com stacking the stats, these guys are just, on another level as far as that goes. It's like, Terminal Interactions, Castle and Noble, had the most total, and then Score, Servoid.com, the most total. But when it comes to like the per minute, that's the real stat. That's the one like you are consistently stacking it up, filling up the stat sheets, whether your map ended in 3 minutes or whether it went the full 24 or whatever. So no surprise to see Pancake and Koala here dominating another like per minute stat. They're just
Totally.
They're awesome. And I was gonna say, Gollum, you were saying that they've been friends for a while. I believe they both came over the same season, same time from Rec Room over to Hyperdash. So yeah, they've even before Hyperdash they've been buddies and all that. So yeah, interesting. It's good to see them here still dominating in the league. So because at one point we thought D's leaving, they're all going to play Veil. We're not going to have these players in our league anymore. But luckily they stuck around, played different teams and that sort of stuff. So congrats to those two leading another category. We'll move on. We'll get to kills. Gollum, don't run away.
Yes.
Run away.
And also, let me just spaz out a little bit, accidentally hitting my movement stick. When you're so little like this, your legs just move so dang fast.
Yeah,
You're just
you
all
do.
over the place. So, and anyway,
you fell off the table again and
speaking
took
of-
another 10 jumps to get
Speaking
back
of
up here.
two zooming, in the kill category, the top two are Rapscallion on Southern Cross and Sandman on UNSC. If you were paying attention to performances this season, you will be very impressed with these two being on the top kill category. But only one takes the first place spot. Who is that going to be, Willow?
And that number one is
Drum roll, please.
Rapscallion from Southern Cross. I always have to prevent myself from saying Sticks. Right behind him, though, is Sandman from UNSC. Look at how close those kills are. 1552 to 1521. That is really close. It's a 31-point difference. That's like a map, basically. It's just one map. If that,
it
for
literally
play
is.
like this.
It literally is one map. Sandman is one map less than Rapscallion. So
That's crazy.
And considering Sandman's pace this season, he would have. There's no way. I mean, unless the map is over in 4 minutes, there's no way Sandman's going to be held to 31 kills in a map. The dude's going to get like 95 or something like that if the map goes the full way. So that's one thing to be said about leading into these stat categories and vote categories or whatever. You got to be in it to win it. So
Totally.
you gotta play as many maps as you can to grind out those numbers, because every single season those Southern Cross players, Rapscallion is going to be up there as far as like most maps played. So anybody that wants to knock him off some of these stat categories is going to have to be playing those maps. So
get on it.
Anyway, congrats to Raps and Sandman here for most kills. Next, we're going to get to our favorite award. It's the Willow Award. And the
Yay.
Willow
Fuck
Award
off.
is the most deaths award, and we didn't used to do most deaths, but now that we can make fun of Willow, we'll do it every time now. So
I
the
didn't
Willow
even
Award,
see this on the
who are our
sheet.
two who are our two names?
Yeah, listen
All
up,
right.
Willow.
Well, we got to rename it every season then. We got Mini Turret and Servoid both from Control. Control representing for the Willow Award. Who's going to take my namesake?
Let's see who's going to dethrone the king. It's going to be Servoid over on Control. We saw him way up in the stat earlier with a previous award. So 12-15 deaths versus Mini Turrets 11-99. Both these guys for Control. Both these guys have been, like we've already talked about, real standout players, even for their team of very skilled players, and really taking the reins of being upfront and getting stuff done. So that's what Willow has always been about. Anytime he's won the Willow Award in the past, and it's
last season.
It's a half mocking and half something that should really be worn with a badge of pride, getting most deaths. Because
it really is.
Always happens with people who are up in the mix, getting stuff done and trying to win the game as hard as possible are the people who win this award. And
I think it's worth mentioning they both have the identical positive KD of 1.11. So it's not like they're losing their fights, you know. It means that they're moving, they're getting shit done. They're always forward, they're always joining their team. They're not saying like, "Oh, you know, I would get on cart, but I don't want to hurt my wee little KD." Yeah, they're like, "No, I know how to win this game, and I'm gonna go do it." You know, and that does get some respect, at least from me, from my Willow Award.
Yeah, for sure. It's like what we were saying earlier. Like, you know, terminal interactions. The people who get high in the terminal interactions, they're going to have high deaths as well. You know, also having C2 and Servoid both had tied for most maps. So it's not like, oh, these guys just die all the time, they suck. Of course not. We all know that these are both great players. It's just, again, if you're playing this long and whatever, you're gonna stack up some deaths. If you've played, you know, 27 maps, you're gonna have a shit ton of deaths. But like you said, these KDs of 111, they had a lot more kills than they had deaths, and they, you know, their team finished. I don't know who won that third place match. Did Control win third place or did Life win third place?
No, Life won third place, but they were up there with us.
So Control fourth place. Then that's still fantastic finish. And so even though this is a category you don't really want to see your name on, it's still shows that you're there, showing up for your team, putting in the time, doing all the work and whatever, and like you said, hopping on cart, taking some deaths and that sort of stuff. So still, you know, congrats to these guys for being big carries for their team. And next we've got kills per minute.
Kills per minute. Now, this is always an exciting category. We've got Evil Pancake
once again
and Koala.
I'm starting to think these guys are pretty good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it makes one wonder about these guys. Who ends up taking the win for this category, Willow?
All right, let's see if Pancake can get a 3-0 on the taking top,
sweep.
and he cannot.
No.
Pancake fumbles it. Koala finally beating Pancake in one of these, getting 4.22 kills per minute to Pancake's 4.08, which is insane.
Paltry 4.08. Yeah.
Crazy. That's crazy. That's so many.
Just think about yourself playing a minute worth of the game. You know, you dash out of the base, you go through the cubby, you look through chaos, you make your ways to Mars. Like, that's a minute right there. You know, if you're like looking around, checking maybe interaction once or twice, but like that, these guys in 1 minute are getting 4 kills.
Basically a team wipe. They're basically solo wiping every minute.
Wiping the team every minute. That's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to ban both these players to bring this down.
And payload takes what? If you both make checkpoints, 24 minutes, right? So that's 24 times that they're getting essentially a full team wipe each. Like, multiply that by 5, and that's how many seconds the enemy team is respawning just because of one player on each team. I mean, insane. It's like, oh my gosh.
The numbers really stack up.
Totally insane. So this is EP and Koala dominating all of the per minute categories which is. And I think if you asked about anybody in the league who are the two best players in the league right now, it's these two.
Mhm.
So for good reason. We'll move on to the last stat category, everyone's favorite category, KD ratio.
Easy. Oh man, a new name coming up here to fight Koala.
All right.
For KD, we got Toshiro from ATX fighting classic D Koala Envy. Who's gonna end up taking this KD?
Well, if you've been in pubs with Toshiro, you've seen that this guy is a stellar player. Always has been, and this season he really was. But taking a look at the victor for this category, the winner is, drumroll please, Toshiro.
Wow.
ATX 1.84 to Koala's 1.83.
0.01.
Now
That's crazy.
Toshiro, only person in the league
disclaimer
able to tell
before we-
Koala to get good.
Before we get
Yeah.
into how impressive this is, because it is impressive. These guys are playing in different tiers of the league, but even beyond tiers of the league, like Koala plays almost in a tier of his own. He's getting more than 4 kills per minute. So to have a better KD ratio than that guy is something truly commendable, no matter where in the tier list you
Yeah.
are. Toshiro, absolutely fantastic. Koala, you're okay. You're doing fine.
Worth mentioning too,
Toshiro
his
is-
push time is almost 800 seconds. This guy's
Yeah.
practically a full dedicated cart player, if not a full dedicated cart player, with
Right.
an almost 2 KD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy on ATX, he's wild. I love this whole team of ATX coming in here and really showing their stuff, and Toshiro slaying out for his team. Great job.
Yeah, Toshiro is clearly a dasher level player playing on a Walker team, so a little bit of an easier road to get there, but it's also his first season. And Koala's been around for 4 seasons or so now.
Something like that, yeah.
So still impressive from Toshiro, and I think so. Sniping isn't really meta so much anymore past like the first couple of seasons up in the dasher the dasher tier, because snipers can get taken out so easy, but snipers can still be super effective at Walker tier. And I don't know, I haven't really watched many ATX matches this season, so I don't know how much of Toshiro's deal has been sniping. I know in pubs he started off just relentlessly sniping. That's all he would do, and now he'll go around with the most asymmetrical gun pairings I've seen anybody use ever and be effective with them. And so I wonder how much of it is like him hanging back, sniping, waterway, stuff like that, or how much he's actually getting in people's faces and stuff like Koala does. But regardless,
a lot of what he does is
impressive.
he uses an SMG and a sniper, so he can kind of take
Whoa.
people out from a distance, and then he can get up in your face and use the SMG. I've seen that a lot.
That's badass.
Yeah,
that's true. I've seen him use that a lot too. Yeah. So just a great like from close range to distance. Not gun hold, but like gun pairing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Toshiro is a super creative player, and he took sort of like the Mr. V route, like using all the weapons that really nobody wanted to use, and then like figuring out how to make them super effective to where now like maybe other people will start doing that. Like maybe we'll see some more sniper SMGs. There goes Gollum again. Goodbye.
He's so fast, right? It's
Back on the
crazy.
table. It's
Can you just jump up the whole cast like that? Just a little
so
man
small,
behind
we
the
need
table.
like a little staircase to get
Smallum?
up to the
Did
table
you just
here.
say Smallum? Not Smallum.
No, I said we're so
Damn it.
small.
All right,
See,
enough of this
Willow can get it
silliness.
one jump. All right. So anyway, congrats to both these guys. Top KDs. I was surprised to see Koala not win this one again. Koala usually, if it's not Koala, it's Rekko. That
Or
would
Evil
win this
Pancake
pretty much every
in
season.
this season.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look and see if this is the first time someone's won KD that wasn't D. I think one season Calvrick was up way high on KD, but I think he might have been runner up. But anyway, fantastic job everybody here on these stat categories. Clearly every team needs some players to fill up the stats in order to be an effective team. So these guys doing good work in the league. We're going to move on now. We're going to get to our vote categories. And after these vote categories, we'll get into who the primary all-stars are. So stick around. Even after we announce MVD, we'll have a little bit more to go. MVD will be the last vote category we do, as always, but we're going to start off with best AI mascot. And if you don't remember, it'll say logo on the graphic here, but it's supposed to be mascot. If you don't remember, in the second episode of Dashcast, I believe, Goose had the brilliant idea to prompt an AI to design a mascot for every team in the league.
Yeah,
and
in honor of the Super
that has
Bowl.
been my favorite segment of
Right.
Yeah, that's been my favorite segment of Dashcast we've ever done. So that's episode 2. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. It's hilarious what this AI came up with. But who are our two top vote getters?
I mean, all these logos are a great mix between silly and legitimately interesting, and so
Yeah.
it's not a
Or
huge surprise to me
horrifying.
that yeah,
or
or
absolutely
horrifying.
terrifying. Yeah.
And so, speaking of terrifying, we had Sith up in here with their middle finger, Darth Vader, and
Yep.
Iron as well. The two most voted teams for this category. Who ends up taking the win here, Willow?
Well, we're going to see that the best AI mascot is going to be Sith. Wow, it's blowing out with 24 to Iron's 10. Yeah, I found it really fun to look through the channels and see all of these and everything. I thought it was a really entertaining thing, and it kind of helps with team pride, like you have your logo, you have your mascot, you have your team, everything. Do we have the graphics up to see these?
I just hope Disney doesn't come for us at the
Right.
end of the day. Yeah.
We should have forced these mascots onto every team.
Right.
Like put the mascot up there. We should have had like little mascot animations to throw into the cats in the middle. Like
Maybe
Oh,
next
well.
season.
mascots up in the
Maybe next season. Yeah.
So one finger won this for Sith. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's because
One
it's
bird.
straight up Darth Vader flicking you off. And it's like, I didn't think AI was supposed to do that. So it was obviously just this hilarious moment. If that finger wasn't up there like it was, then this Sith mascot would have been just completely appropriate, which is what the Iron one was. The Iron one was just totally appropriate mascot, because if you ever watch the NFL I think it's on Fox, they have their little the Iron or the all metal like football player mascot thing, and the Iron mascot was just like, oh, that thing.
That
So it was
just makes
super
sense.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it made sense. So I guess the way the vote went, people went for the ones that fit the name the best, and Darth Vader won out because he's being a little cheeky, little bastard there.
Wait, are you saying that Limgo did not fit Limbo?
Dude, Limgo was my absolute favorite. He looked like a bar of soap with a squirt of pink toothpaste on the top of his head. Suds used him. Mr. Soap used him for his PFP for like a day or two, and I was like, yes, Limgo, perfect use of Limgo. But it's not there anymore. But yeah, they were, again, go watch that episode. There were a bunch of absolutely hilarious AI generated mascots. So check it out. We'll move on to the next category. Here is best hype song.
Best hype song. We got Sky and Sith fighting it out for their favorite song. This was another thing that I loved hearing, seeing. Was again just like we got the mascots, we got the songs, we got the logos, we got the teams, we got the Dash League, we got the victories. Who's gonna win their best hype song?
So I will go through the songs, but before we go on to the winners, let's just give it just a couple seconds. We'll listen to each song. We'll start with the Sky, and then we'll move on to the Sith, and then we'll go ahead and give the votes and let the audience decide who their favorite is before we find out where the votes went. First, with Sky.
Let me introduce you to a team called Sky. First we got Clever and the Goose, man, silly duets for button hunt, and all of a sudden rush in the star car strutting in. Slops and Wandy, they in it for the thrill of the kill, nothing better than a kill for a thrill. Money and man, no merciless maestros of murder, ripping and tearing all souls without even a murder. Raw, quickest on the draw, feverishly flipping them birds, unstoppable urge to disrespect them nerds. straight chillin'. But then there's that, just a straight up bitch. Flat on the gat, flat on the straps, flat on his ass when he checks his stats. You heard me? Now you know that Sky got it going on. Except for that, Sky straight chillin'. Gosh, that straight chillin'. That straight being a bitch. Sky went from Springer to Walker, bro. Thanks, lad. You little bitch. Sky straight chillin'. That straight being a bitch. Slob straight chillin'. That straight being a bitch. That straight being a bitch. Sky went from Sprinter to Walker, bro. Thanks, lad. You little bitch. Sky straight chillin'. That straight being a bitch.
And now with Sith.
Lightsabers gleaming, Sith Force scheming, dark side rising, powers teeming. We strike fear around this seeming, unleash destruction. There's no redeeming. With every step, the galaxy quakes. Our power grows like a storm that breaks. We feed on fear, it's the fuel we intake. We bring chaos and darkness in our wake. Rise up, let the darkness ignite. Unleash your fury, let it take flight. Embrace the power of the force inside. We are darkness, the Sith light. Rise up, let the darkness ignite. Unleash your fury, let it take flight. Embrace the power of the force inside. We are darkness, the Sith light.
And the winner is... It is Sky! Congratulations to Sky. Yeah, just a little bit of influence here. But Sky, that song was pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I
It's
voted for
upsetting.
that too. Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
upsetting.
it was 30% of talking about like the team, and then 60% of just dissing Lat.
And you know, a lot of people clearly like dissing Lat in this
Asshole on
league.
Sky wrote that song. No one will tell me. But real son of a bitch, real mean. How dare you do that, guys? I thought we were friends. Very
No.
upset with you.
Yeah.
Cut him off.
And then Sith always just has been like, as a team, a real force of personality. I mean,
Yeah.
like their AI logo, to some extent, they got fortunate there with just how fitting and entertaining it was. But as a team, they've always been so thematically appropriate and so kind of in their team representation. And so it even shows up in this song here that a lot of people recognized that and voted for them and really liked them as a team and really liked the music that they had made for them.
Yeah, Sky has a bunch of good dudes on there. I mean, they remind me of Loop, just in like, you know, when I joined Loop, you guys were awesome. There wasn't any like competition between like who's actually going to lead this team with, you know, with me coming in, and you guys were just so laid back. And Sky is the same way. Wanderer, Sarples, Mad, you know, Bin Money, all those guys, they're super laid back and just good to be around. And they've let me come in and lead them on strategy a bit, and haven't given me any shit on it at all. So it's just like it makes sense people to like to like Sky as a team because it's well deserved. Just like the way people consider Loop always is like Sky's like that too. Just great people. So congrats for getting some recognition here for the hype song. We will, and congrats to Sith coming in second place. And thanks to first off, this category was Heise's idea. So thanks, Heise. This turned out to be super fun. And not every team even participated and gave a song. So thanks especially to the teams that actually took the time to at least prompt a song, but also the ones that took the time to like write actual lyrics and everything like that. It was a fun experience, something that was cool to do this season. Well, we'll go ahead and move on. We're going to move on to favorite player name. Who has your favorite player name?
We had two lovely individuals in the running for this category on Sith. More Sith representation here for the vote categories. Aries of War. And on Phoenix, we have .com, the one, the only. Who ends up taking the win in the votes here, Willow?
All right. Well, for the winner here for best name, these are some two very nice names. I know .com was up in the running last season, and he's going to be up in the running again as Aries of is going to take it with 1 point. Aries of War is a great name. Honestly, at this point, .com has been around for so long. I've kind of been desensitized to how like funny his name is. I know Adoption Papers he barely lost out to last season,
Right,
which is like another great name. Not a player this season, I don't think, but yeah, I mean, it's great. I think this is a really fun award. This has always been one of my favorites because it just like shows like the great community people and how funny people can be.
Yeah, and like speaking of the sensa word, people can kind of like when they're online and playing video games for so long, they might see a name like the Poop General or whatever, and maybe not really even think twice about it because people just have names in the online sphere, but every name has a story behind it, even if it's like not super eventful. Every creative name has something going for it, and it's always interesting to hear those stories, and even just to see these people with those creative names out in the field, living their life and representing themselves in this way. And Aries of War and .com are good examples of that.
Well, speaking of the stories behind them, well, first off, I don't know what .com story is. Probably no story at all. .com, I'll do that. Who knows?
Yeah.
I asked Aries one time. It's like, and I'm sure a lot of people have asked him this, but like, you do know Aries is not spelled with an I, right? And he's like, yes, I know. And I'm like, so how'd you come to that name? How'd you come to that spelling? And if I remember correctly, it's basically that like Aries is always taken. So he added that spelling, and then it was always available, something like that. But he's been using that name forever and ever and ever. But congrats on the win there. You guys are again voting incorrectly because clearly the best name in the league is Brave Sir Robin. Unfortunately, dropped this season though. Retired. I don't know if he retired or he's coming back, but
he bravely ran away.
Yeah. He bravely ran away and is no longer with us. Sad. And I think another sad story is, with a name just like Goose, how boring, just being a regular old goose. I mean, just flying around, like chasing people down, taking green shits all over the pavement, just a regular old goose.
Mm-hmm.
But if we had like maybe the silliest goose of all geese in the league, if we had the silliest goose,
right,
he might have had like the best name,
the top in the category.
Who knows?
Maybe
the silliest goose will make a return next season.
A silly return.
We'll have to see. Some foreshadowing. We'll have
to see. Little tease there.
Okay. We'll move on to the next category. Favorite player. I won. We'll move on from there.
Right.
No. Oh, damn! I didn't win. All right.
Not
who's
even here? In the running here.
Damn it.
Rest in peace, Lat.
So if I ignore the top result of Lat, then I do see here Hog Rider from Supernova and Goose from Sky and Sage Birdie from Ajax, which seems like there's kind of a three-way tie here. Let's see who ends up beating it out.
The most favorite player in Dash League this season is going to be Hog Rider on Supernova. Both Goose and Sage coming in second with a tie vote. But congratulations to Hogrider, a real force of personality in the league. Clearly, that is represented in the votes here. But that's no knock on Goose or Sage and everything that they've been doing, and coming into the league really trying to represent themselves and represent Dash League spirit.
Yeah, well, Hogrider, definitely a strong personality. Everyone likes that guy, except for the Mon team, I think.
Yeah. And maybe that's why so many people like him, to be honest. He's kind of like a bit of an anarchy symbol here.
I to be perfectly honest, I'm surprised Goose didn't win this one. Because people love Goose, and I will say Sageworthy is going to love seeing this because Sageworthy thinks everybody hates her. So
there's at least 6 people who
don't get up there in the running. Yeah. All right, we'll move on to favorite team. Loop's not around, so who's going to take it this time?
Yeah, I know. Our huge streak has to be ended somehow, and only us disbanding would end it.
Right.
Okay, well, it's going to be between a lot of teams here. We've got 12 AM, Envy, and Sky versus Sith. They had to combine their powers to possibly try to beat out Sith here. Who's going to end up winning?
Drum roll, please. Sith.
Wow, by a landslide.
With their music, with their areas of war, is winning the vote for favorite team this season. 27 votes. Both are all 12 AM, Envy, and Sky all duking it out in the runner-up spot, but Sith winning out. I mean, based on the way the previous vote categories have gone, not a huge surprise there. These guys have been really huge forces of personality. I've used that term a couple times already, but I feel like it applies so much because so many teams know this team and what they're all about, and clearly they like it and respect it.
Yeah. If you combine all of 12 AM and Envy and Sky, then they win.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, congrats to Sith taking on the new favorite team spot. You're doing something right if the rest of the league likes you that much. It usually says that you don't have much toxicity going on. Whatever. When you're
which is a big deal.
Their themed roster changes, I think, are a big impact there. Every time they do a roster change, they do have the relevant info and all that, but it's always something about the dark side battling with the light because a player left and another one joined. It's always good to read that stuff.
They're also frequent, they're all fun to play with in pubs and have good personalities, and they're frequently in pubs. Whenever I pub, I'm always running into Sith players, and that goes a long way too. I think how often you get exposed to the players on the team and all that sort of stuff. Some of these teams that don't pub as much, or everyone's aliasing, and you don't know it's them or whatever, probably don't get represented here quite as well. But congrats also on the other side to Sky, getting second place there. Like I was talking about before, a bunch of good people on that team, so hard not to like them. Midnight, a brand new team that performed really well some people are gonna yell at me for saying brand new team, but not putting them up for a new team. It is a veteran team filled with a bunch of veterans that carried that team, but also new players. And they did as a team put together playing their first season, they did really well this season.
Definitely.
And Envy,
they surprised me a lot.
Koala on Dark Moon over on Envy, so they're going to get some votes just having the top player and being a top team and all that. So congrats to the 4 teams represented up there. We're going to move on to best logo this time around. Best logo, I feel like every season has a different team that wins it, which is interesting because most of the logos stay the same. So who do we got leading
some
here?
people add in new logos, some teams end up leaving, and over in the top voting category we have 12 AM, Iron, Phoenix, and Life all up at it. Who ends up getting the most votes, though, Willow? That is the question.
Well, let's see. Let's see if Life can take it. Let's see if Life can take it. Life can take it. Life can take it.
Life can
Let's
take
go.
it. Life can take it.
Life can take it. This is a new logo this season.
Best logo.
Best logo. It does look really cool. I mean, looking at it here in the big graphic, you can see that a lot of work goes into these logos. But I mean, all of these are really good logos. I know Iron made their logo in Blender. Maiden made it, a retired player now. But like I saw the early like how they were putting it together in Blender, and there's a few Easter eggs in their logo that like you can go and look for. So I mean, and Phoenix has like. My favorite logos personally are always the simple ones. Like my favorite logo always was just others. Like it's just
Me
with
too.
the slash. It's super simple.
Yeah.
Phoenix and Midnight definitely have that going for them. Like especially Phoenix is just so simple, and that's like what hits it home. Is like if you can make something look good and not be so complicated, then that's what makes like a good company logo. And I think all of these are really nice. I love how colorful Life's is too. I mean, these are definitely deserve to be up here.
Yep, agreed. Life's logo, it's like you're saying, simple logos. It's a little bit more complex, but in the best way. It's got the glow that reflects the green, which green would be the appropriate color to choose for Life. It's got the robot looking all badass, looking away from the camera, whatever. So Life has been that team that's had multiple iterations of a logo. Like they've had a new one almost every season.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if this is my favorite Life logo that they've had before, but this is a good one. Of course, and like you said, the other three there, all really good logos too. As far as like effort put into a logo, I like Iron throwing some Easter eggs in there.
Yeah,
is pretty cool. I don't think I knew about that. I don't think many people knew about them throwing some Easter eggs in there. So maybe people will take a look at that logo a little bit more closely.
Put a magnifying glass to that.
Yeah. All right. So moving forward, next category is the Spirit Award, and this is just some outstanding community member that everyone enjoys their personality or deeds or just organizing servers for people to get together, just doing some stuff within the community that the community likes. So who do we got here, guys?
We got two really big names in the league here. No surprise that we've got our very own Goose behind the camera up there fighting it off against Doll making all these lobbies and connections of people in the league. I feel like every season there's someone that puts in a ton of effort, puts up a lobby every day. I know we've had like Captain Kickass and Fathead, and this season it's been Doll who's been making lobbies all the time. I get pings of like, come join Doll's lobby. Come on, let's go play Doll's lobby. Like that's like, people get home from work and they're like, all right, when's Doll gonna put that lobby up? I gotta, go home and play some Hyperdash. So these are two really, really nice names. And Goose, of course, behind all of the animations that you see. Goose casting this right now. I think Goose made even just a bunch of stuff that's going on this whole season. Helped cast finals, obviously, and I think even more than finals. I think you did second place or something like that, or not second place, sprinter or something like that. Yeah, I mean, just a ton of casting, a ton of everything, and so like casting would not be what it is without Goose.
I mean, awesome personalities too, just super kind people and friendly and willing to help out and whatever. So just even beyond all the stuff they do for the community and whatever, they're just like cool people, which we need more of in the league. Just people who are totally fucking chill and cool and friendly and whatever. So big props to those two. Who won?
We have seen so much behind the scenes work from both of these people, and it's no surprise to me that both of these people have been given the votes and the chance to win this category, but only one has the most votes. Goose on Sky, the man behind the cam, does win the category, and Doll, not having stats because she didn't play this season, did get the second most because of all that community work that you mentioned earlier, but Goose has really come in strong this season, and clearly that's been recognized. Congratulations,
Thank you. I do think it's funny though that we're displaying my stats for
right.
That
Spirit Award.
Your spirit stats.
Spirit stat. Well, you have anything to say, Goose?
Oh gosh, I gotta do a speech now.
Yeah, what do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, you're the one winner here who's will be able to actually give a speech.
No, I mean, the only thing that I can say is like being a part of Dash League has been absolutely amazing. I've enjoyed and I'm not even like BSing here. Like it's been so much fun. I've made real life friends, as I've mentioned in like actual like the Dashcast and everything. Like I've made real life friends, playing this game and being a part of this league. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Very well said. Very well put.
Willow's getting bored.
Yeah.
No.
Didn't like my
Shit out.
speech. Ran off.
No, it was a good
Right.
speech. It was a good speech. I have to fuck with Gollum at least once during these games.
Yeah, I got you.
God.
Well, I do have to say one thing to put a cap on this. Doll, you suck. Now,
Doll, we love you.
Right.
We love you. Don't listen to lies.
anytime I don't join her server, she's like, "You suck." Like, well, I got shit going on. I'm sorry.
No.
All right, next up, favorite commentator.
Favorite commentator. Man, I wonder who's on the running for this. Oh, look. It's Goose, Mr. Favorite Spirit in all of Dash League, and not Gollum himself, everybody's favorite caster and commentator. At least that's what I say every single cast. I guess we're about to find out how true it is, Willow. Has anybody listened to my subliminal programming?
My screen here just says sexiest caster in the league, and it's just my name over and over again.
Right.
My graphic
matches?
must be wrong.
What matches?
So, but I mean, favorite commentator. I guess we can see that one. If you just want to pull that up here.
Ignore
We'll
Willow
see
and
who
just
end up
show the
winning.
winner. My God.
And Goose, like doubling Gollum's score.
Right,
Goose
yeah.
absolutely blowout. I mean, in all seriousness, no, it was a great cast. You're a great commentator. I mean, you did a great job this season, Goose. Casting would not be what it is without you. And Gollum was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, clearly
Gollum existed.
subliminal messaging and telling people that you're great only gets you so far when
Right.
somebody else is actually really putting in the work and the time and delivering quality content consistently. And I'm really proud of you, Goose. That I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even vote for myself. I voted for you this season.
Oh, God.
And so congratulations.
So nice.
Thank you.
I voted
And
for
then
myself,
also
and
no
I've never
stats.
commented.
There you go.
So Goose is like everyone likes Goose's cast and commentary, even Style Dev, who's kind of taken a step away from the league. I don't think he watches many matches or keeps up with what's going on the everyday stuff in the league or whatever anymore. But I've been on a VC with him before. I think Goose was there too, but he was like, "Goose, you're doing a great job." But I'm like, "Shit, Style Dev watches matches." Like, I guess if you have someone fun like Goose to draw him in, then yeah. So congrats, Goose, badass.
Thank you.
Tell me how you felt, from when you started casting, when it was like your first cast or two, when you're new to it, maybe nervous about it or whatever, to how you feel about
Being a commentator
commentary now.
Yeah.
So I actually started last season. I don't know if you guys remember. I started a little bit last season, just getting my feet wet, and it was like, I do like production as my normal day job. So going to this wasn't that huge. It was the being a personality type of thing, because usually I'm just behind the scenes, and nobody hears me, nobody like sees me, but stepping in front of the camera or on the stage is a completely different beast, and I think I've done a little bit of a good job, but
Clearly.
so that was something that I was getting used to. So it's like completely night and day, and I've gone back and watched my cast from last season. I was like, oh gosh, I sounded so nervous. But
yeah, but that's to be expected, being a little nervous starting off, especially like you said, being a behind the scenes person, and now being someone who, like, you have to be reliant on your personality for people to continue watching, that sort of stuff. And lucky for you, you have a great personality, so that all worked out, and you've definitely got the work ethic for it. You put in a lot of time for this stuff, making assets that not derogatory or anything like, but just making assets that no one asked for, just taking the time to be like, here's something cool I made, and trying to find places to put those things. So you've knocked it out of the park.
Part of that,
this season.
I have ADHD, so I could just like literally sit down and like do something for 3 hours and be like, this is awesome.
And they look great. I mean, the new intro that you made, that I think we saw during the finals and everything, like, all that stuff is really cool. I know we had Firehorse doing that for a while, and Firehorse has gotten pretty busy, and so it's nice to know that, like, just because Firehorse is busy, the casts don't just stagnate. Like, it's still being innovated. Still, I mean, look at this. Like, look at this whole everything that we got going on here. Like, I think this looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Us
lot
itty
of
bitty
cool shit
guys.
created by this community for sure, and shout out to Pixel Witch. Like she made, we always give her a shout out when we do this. She made this whole space, and y'all are only seeing like this, broadcast desk part of it,
Mhm.
but it's a pretty interesting space. If anyone ever gets the chance, I need to stop punching my mic. If anyone ever gets the chance to like come into this VR chat space, you know how like people have requested for in the conference room in the lobby for the devs to put out a hologram map, and we could like discuss over the map what to strategy whatever. That is here in this VR chat room. You can come
Already
and pull up
exists.
any map.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has little figurine player models and a cart and all, so you can actually set stuff up on the mat and show positioning and all. It's a sweet space. So thanks to Pixel Witch for letting us use it for this. And it's still here. Any team can hop in here and have a strategy sesh with the hologram maps and all that stuff. So anyway, just a shout out to her there. But to get back to Goose, another thing I think that works well in your favor, Goose, is putting yourself on camera. Not a lot of people are willing to do that.
Yeah.
And I noticed with Dre was a personality also, but I think him showing people himself, it just lets you connect with that person more.
Yeah.
And and I just think that helps a lot in terms of endearing the league to you as a personality in the first place. So
Yeah, and
anyway,
and a
good
couple
shit.
people have done that this season, and I think it's been great. It helps to make that connection. You're right.
Yeah, Jaded does obviously. Who else? Jake and
Gravix.
Jaded. Was there someone else?
Yeah, Jake and Jaden and Gravix.
Oh,
all do it.
Gravix.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know if I've seen Gravix. Maybe I
Gravix
have.
has
Okay.
only done a couple of matches though. I think he had to take a
Yeah,
step
this
back
season.
this season, but he's done it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Moving on from commentator, our next category is favorite caster.
Favorite
I
caster.
wonder who the fuck could have won that one.
So the two favorite casters between Goose and Dashhole, two people who pick up a lot of casts. I mean, before we talk even more about Goose and everything, I do want to say that Dashhole has been casting like a maniac.
Yeah.
This guy is churning out casts. I mean, so many of these casts that people are scheduled kind of last minute, or like that we get the double schedules classic. I mean, I think even the finals was like, we had the finals and then we had the sprinter finals that was like 30 minutes later, the different start time, and then we had, I think the Walker finals was even like an hour before so it's like all these casts were at the same time, all overlapping, and Dashel would always come in and be like, oh, is there two games overlapping? Like, I'll take the one that isn't being casted, and it's like such a huge help.
He's even casted 2 matches at one time.
Yeah,
and
that's
I don't
crazy.
know how he pulls
That's
that
crazy.
off.
And he'll do it at work too. He'll do it while he's at work. I think that's why he could do so many. Like, even if he's at work, he could throw a drone cam in there and, like, I guess keep it off to a side computer while while Bill Lumberg, the boss, walks by and gives you shit. So,
right.
Anyway, yeah, Dashel, what he would. So he started off as being this backup recorder,
like the backup for the backup, basically.
Yeah,
by his own
if someone had to
admission,
drop last minute, or just no one was able to pick it up, he's like, well, I'll record it. I'll throw a drone in there. And I think he started doing that last season. And over time, he's improved his setup and learned more and blah, 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 to where now he could do a full-blown cast. He used to not have the hardware capable of handling someone joining him in the booth and commentating and him being able to catch that audio as well. It would just mess the system up, but not anymore. So he's getting back up to be a real caster, but he still comes in and acts as the backup too, and grabs those last minute casts. And just one thing to say, I think I say it in most award shows or maybe on other Dashcasts or whatever, but one thing that me personally am very grateful for is our casting team, because they stay on top of it themselves. It's something that I don't have to monitor and watch all the time. And sometimes I feel like shit, like, I can't hop in and grab a cast, and I'm always depending on other people to do it, whatever. But I've got so much other stuff to do that it's so nice that I also don't have to learn to be a caster or be available to cast 10 15 matches a season. So thanks a lot to all the casters, all the commentators who watch the calendar and make sure everything's captured, and if something's missed, the caster will ping all the other casters, hey guys, this one's not working, and they'll try to flip schedules around to catch everything. And you guys, so all three of you guys, all the other ones, just thanks a lot from the league perspective. You guys are killer at this. And if you ever talk to, like, Makers has mentioned it, but other people who are involved in multiple leagues, this is the league out of all VR leagues where probably most, pancake game leagues and stuff also, but this league is the league where we have such a robust casting network of people where almost every match is going to be cast. So when you're getting in there, it's like, for our own little community, it's like being on TV. And people will still tell me they get a little nervous before matches because they know they're going to be cast and whatever.
Yeah.
For me, it's like ho hum. Now I've been doing it for so long,
Right.
but it still gives people that little rise.
Yeah, and I think
to
I
have
looked
everything
back
cast.
and there were only 2 matches that didn't get casted this season.
That's
So-
crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how much. Yeah.
Well,
No,
go ahead.
Yeah, if I can just go on my monologue turn of like, I play Veil. I'm like 90% retired from Hyperdash. I think I played like 3 maps or something this season of Hyperdash. So I'm mostly playing Veil, and they cast 1 game every 2 weeks, maybe. And it not only is it so incredibly boring, right? That like, you see on this schedule, like, oh my gosh, this amazing team is fighting this amazing team, and my team is fighting this great team, or whatever. And then it's just like a ghost town, like nobody knows why. Like it's just like a total black box. But also it increases the skill of the game. Now that we have this Hyperdash by Arthur, where you can see the mini map and you get these amazing casters, even just a drone thrown in from Dash Hole sometimes, like you can see what is happening and what your team is doing right and what it's doing wrong. So not only is it entertaining and you get these personalities and you get all these people like Goose that like you can be like, oh yeah, I can come in and see Dre, I can come in and see Goose or Willow or whatever, like, but also it elevates the league, it elevates the skill that we're at. I mean, footage reviews are just as important as playing the game. My first season, I really didn't ever play pubs that much. I mostly was watching games and footage reviewing and stuff because like that I want, I'm not going to go and I don't know what I'm doing, but these guys do. And so I'm going to go and I'm going to watch this. And so, every season we have multiple casters that just drop off, myself included. This season, I only commentated like 2 games, I think, when, a few seasons ago, I was like up there on the casting list. So every season we have people who like just life happens and they can't cast anymore. And so even though we're doing great on the casting, I can guarantee you next season, we're going to have someone who did cast a lot this last season. They're not going to be able to cast this upcoming season. And so if you have a half decent computer, it doesn't need to be amazing, and you have a good internet connection, that's all it really takes. And I can agree, it's very nerve-wracking at first. I would get why someone wouldn't want to be a caster or a commentator, because it can be. I remember my first cast, Garbage Man, who was a huge caster when I first started playing, we were doing the recording, like you could just record it instead of live streaming as like a backup for casters, because like we didn't have enough casters at the time. And I was like, oh, I'm so scared of it, like I guess I'll record a game. I wouldn't even touch a live stream, and then after I did that like twice, I was like, you know what, this isn't so bad, like I'm gonna, and then I think that very same season I ended up commentating the finals, or maybe the next season, I don't remember, but like, yeah, so if you're nervous or anything, like it really is, it's a huge help, and it's really not that bad. You think it's scary, and then it's not, and it's a ton of fun. Commentating the finals was like a blast. Genuinely, if you hear our Gollum and I's reactions of like going like, oh my god, like what, no, like this is crazy, this thing's happening. We're not like playing it up for the camera or whatever. Like it really is that much fun to watch these games and get this invested. And not to mention, you get to see firsthand these other teams, how they're doing, what they're doing, and you can bring that to your own team if you want. Like, so, if you are at all interested in becoming a caster, every season you should reach out to me or Lat or someone and try to go into it, because we always are in need of casters and commentators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
to sort
right,
of follow up with what Willow was saying, yeah, if you want to become a caster, reach out to me or Willow. Willow has everything set up to where he's got all the steps to where you just, hey, do this, then do this, then do this, then, do all these steps, and now you're ready to cast.
Yeah, it's got a video, an instructional video you just follow. Like,
yeah,
it's
so he's
as
put a lot
easy
of
as
work into
possible.
that. Yeah, to make it super easy to get on board and to cast. And then if you're a little nervous about like trying to carry commentary, this is why I don't hop in anything, because I think I'll just be like the worst commentator ever. So I don't ever jump in. I just think I'll be shitty at it. But So if you're going to come in and be a caster, you don't necessarily have to also be a commentator. If you want to, awesome,
Yeah.
and you'll develop that skill over time. But we have more commentators than we have casters, and other casters might hop on your cast just to commentate for you, and take off that burden of trying to do all the cast work, but also watch the match and commentate on it all. So you can always get a commentator to come help you to ease things in a little bit and all that. And one other thing I wanted to say about our how we get to cast so many things. I wonder how much having so many matches cast in this league are for within the overall VR community, how much our casts help out with the fame of a person like Koala or a team like D, who's in multiple games and people already know who they are. Odd is getting some big recognition with Acer
and
all that sort of
everything.
stuff.
It's not
And you
even the
can come and
players.
watch
It's
these players here.
Yeah, it's everybody. Like myself, me and Gollum, we commentated some Breacher stuff, and I got personally invited to be a Rainbow Six Siege caster, because of what we were doing with Hyperdash and with Breachers. So it's if this is something that you guys think you might want to do, I know there's one person who constantly reaches out to us and is he wants to get into the commentary and stuff because he wants to commentate sports and stuff for his job. I can tell you, me and Gollum applied to be a sports commentator at our college, which because we were so good at this, right? It really is good practice, and it's recognition for the players, it's recognition for you, it's everybody. VR is a small space, so if you commentate stuff, you really can get your name out there.
Yeah. So anyway, if you're ever trying to pull someone from another game over to come play Hyperdash, just tell them we'll make them famous.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll have your own reel that you can play. That's me playing right there, bitch. So anyway, I'm super proud of our casting apparatus that we have, and what we haven't done is announce the winner of favorite caster. So
No.
let's go ahead.
Yeah,
and get that
we've been
going.
here for a while.
I think it's on you, Gollum. Who's the who won this time?
So with those two well put, I'll let it be said, monologuers out of the way.
Yeah.
Focus on me. I'm the most important guy, except for these two, Goose and Dashhole. The winner is Goose. On Sky, favorite caster and favorite commentator this season. Congratulations, Goose. You're one of the many pillars that holds up this community. And
Thank you.
Dashhole, very impressive season thus far, and really has upped his game, like you mentioned earlier. But
just don't look at the stats. Just don't look at the stats.
Exactly. But I think you guys said pretty much everything there is to say about the commentary. If you want to get in on it, talk to these guys.
We need Goose's third speech in a row.
Yeah,
Right.
speech.
Thank you. That's my speech.
All right. Good speech. All right, let's move on. We've got best new team, I believe. Yeah, best new team.
Best new team, that's right. We have 3 here in the running. We have Rook. We have Underdog, excuse me. I'm getting better at that, but I have the Willow problem with sticks too. And ATX, best new team. These 3 teams came in strong, mostly, if not entirely, represented and supported by completely new players. That is the one requirement for this category. That is why all 3 of these teams are up here in the running. Who ends up taking the most votes here, Willow?
Let's see who's going to get number 1. Number 1. And it's going to be Rook. Wow. With a lot of votes. Rook taking this one. That's really very cool. This is, again, one of my favorite awards. These new teams really need the recognition. It's hard to come out here and be a new team and see all these players that have been here for seasons, literally years. I mean, since COVID, right? So it's 3 years, 4 years, something crazy. And then you come in, make a new team, and you make a name for yourself. I mean, all 3 teams here definitely did that. I recognize every single team here, and I barely even played this season, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, most seasons we have, a few new teams, and usually, 70% of them forfeit out or die off or something. We only had we had 3 teams very close to forfeiting out, and we made some maneuvers to try and help them survive. We had one team that did forfeit out. That's XP, but I don't know. I don't think Rook is going anywhere. I don't think ATX is going anywhere. Not sure about Underdog. Hopefully they'll be back for next season also. But this season with our new teams, even including Midnight and Control and stuff like that. I think these new teams are going to be carrying over into the next season, which is awesome because a lot of times you have your established teams and then like some of the new teams will be there for a season or whatever, be like, oh, we can't handle this, scheduling wise or skill wise or whatever, and they fall off. But a lot of new teams sticking around this season, and already in the off season between 7 and 8, I hear rumors of new teams being made or whatever. So I'm hoping like next season we have just an explosion of new teams would be awesome. So we'll see.
Totally.
Yeah. And the thing that I like about Rook is that they have a few veterans on there to help lead, but they're you're right, they're all a lot of newbies, and it's great to see them do that great this season.
Yeah. Yep. Let's move on to best acquisition.
Let's see it. Best acquisition is going to be, no surprise here, Koala from Envy up at the top, and then Pancake on from Life. But we got Hog Rider from Supernova up there too. I'm glad to see some new names fighting in the Koala and Pancake constant fight. Let's go ahead and see which D player is going to be the best acquisition.
Right. So the winner is Koala on Envy. You were talking about name recognition earlier, getting your name out there with the casting. These guys have name recognition. I mean, all three of these guys, Hog Rider, Evil Pancake, and Koala, have that name recognition, but clearly Koala winning out with 30 votes for this category. And I mean, the skill shown in his matches is a huge supporter of that fact, of that being a good decision for Envy, getting Koala on there. He had a pretty impressive season, as he usually does.
Every season he does is the most impressive. Yeah, and you guys hear that at home. Like, all you got to do, open those checkbooks. You're gonna win this award. Like, these top players are top players for a reason, and they got recognized for it, for both the award and for the getting recruited by the team and enticed by the teams and everything. I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
They're going to try and keep this award alive next season. Koala's going to play for Hard, and Evil Pancake's going to play for Emu.
Yeah,
bring them both to Dasher tier. So congrats, Koala, winning that one. That's that's one of those no-brainer categories when he's eligible for something like that. Hog Rider, how many fake ballots did you fill out, bro?
Stuff in the ballot box. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Next category we have is best managed team.
Best managed team. No loop this season. Just got to name drop our old team just a little bit here. This is going to be represented by Control and by Sith, up in the running for best managed. Who ends up taking the victory for most votes here?
Let's see it. Let's see who managed. Let's see who best managed. Who managed the best. And it was Control. Wow, very close. Control 25 and Sith right behind with 22. I can't say it's a huge surprise that Control is up there. I know that Jaded, who does a lot of the, or a little tipsy now, who does a lot of the managing for this team, also, like, I think even gets paid by other teams to manage them because she is so used to managing the teams. So there's definitely credit where credit is due. Like, it's such a pain when you have to talk to a team and they don't reply, at all or in a timely manner, or like if they do reply, then it's like, oh my God, like I have to fight this person for every single little thing, and it's I need to get the board involved because they won't it's like such a relief when you get matched up with a nice team like Sith or Control, and then you can just be like, hey, let's talk about this like adults. It takes one day to schedule this stuff out. It's a huge deal. And then, then they can bring that same nice communication style to their team in the game, which this game is all about communication. So, that's something that is really important.
Yeah. It's not a huge surprise to me that either of these teams were voted for this category and that they're so close in the running here, too. Both of them just a couple votes away from each other. Both well-deserving of that best managed.
Yeah, Control a newly formed team this season, finishing 4th in Dasher. Obviously, some great players on the team and all that, but anytime you have like a newly formed team that needs to become cohesive with each other and all that sort of stuff, that can be a daunting task. And they carried that all that mess, whatever. And it was messy when that team first started. I'll tell you that for sure. But to ride through all that and still get up to like 4th and Dasher, is fantastic. So
a big deal.
congrats
Yeah.
Control there. Congrats Sith, also for being recognized. Next, now we got the three big categories
Mm-hmm.
left.
Let's
Next,
see
we
it.
got most improved player.
Most improved player, two names that we've seen before. We're going to see Hog Rider from Supernova and Areas of War from Sith going to be fighting it out for most improved. These two players definitely did a lot of damage this season, but who ended up taking this award?
Let's see who is the winner of Most Improved for Dash League Season 8. It is Hog Rider 673, the full name and the full game. Most improved this season. He did very well for himself and for his team in representing Supernova. They played at a pretty impressive level this season. And looking at the stats here for both of these players, Ares of War and Hog Rider, way, way up there in the score. Even just focusing on that one thing outside of like the KD and kills per minute, which are impressive for these guys and all that. But Hog Rider taking the victory with a pretty close vote, 25 to 22.
Yeah, that is
both
close.
These players, well deserving, have had a pretty big change from the previous season. I'm happy to see them here.
Yeah, I mean, running into these players in pubs, like you see how well deserved this is. Hog Rider is an absolute beast. Ares of War is a beast. Also, I like when I'm playing against these guys because they give you a challenge and something to prove. So those are the players I like to run up against in pubs, and just well deserved. Both of these guys. There were a few good candidates for this one, but I think people chose right. And so anyway, congrats, fellas. Next up, we have best new player. So rookie of the season.
Rookie of the season, we've got Toshiro on ATX and Raider Gator on Sith. These two in the running for best new players. Both of these guys, even if you recognize their name and have seen their name a lot, like I've been doing that, like logically, I know they are new players to Dash League, but with how much I see their names and how much they've been representing their teams, it's always a surprise to me that they are still new to this league because they do so well for themselves.
It's true both of them were pub players for a little while before.
Yeah.
Raider Gator for much longer than Toshiro. Toshiro showed up last season, but didn't play last season, but he was in the pubs and started getting recognized, and then people were like, get in the league, asshole. So luckily ATX was able to bring him in. And Raider Gator too, been around for a long time. It's like, dude, it's time. It's time to join the league. So anyway, who's taking this one home?
Let's see it. We're going to see that Toshiro, again, barely winning out, is going to take the top slot here. Crazy to only see that one Season 7 there. Because I just feel like I know these names so well. Especially, like, I'm surprised Raider Gator wasn't up in the running for the best name, to be honest. I mean, I think that one's a really funny one. But, yeah, great job. And Toshiro's new, I mean, I know we already talked about it, but the unique play style he does, that's the type of stuff that I love seeing coming into League. Is like when you see a new team come in, and then, like, they start doing stuff, and you're like, whoa, what is this like? What are these guys doing? Like, this isn't, I'm used to seeing, Dark Moon up there do the same thing every day. Yeah. Like, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So well-deserved Toshiro, well-deserved Raider Gator. I mean, also winning KD this season.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. So I would have been. So the way we do, just to know something, the way we do we determine like who the candidates are going to be for any award is, we'll take the people that fit the qualifiers that we put on there. Obviously, one of the qualifiers for this one is you only played one season. And, once we apply all the qualifiers to the stats page, we'll then look at like who the top 20 names are in each stat. And then we'll put that on a spreadsheet. And once it's on the spreadsheet, I'll hit, put everyone like, so say the KD category. And you'll have the top name in KD all the way down to the 20th name in KD is one column. And then you'll have like kills and kills per minute. So all those columns. And then we'll just hit the find function and put a name in. And when I put in Toshiro, he was on that top row in like all 8 or 9 categories of like top 5. So Toshiro just like lit up the top fives in like every stat, and just just by doing the search function on all the names and seeing where everyone is on those. I need to stop punching this mic. Where everyone is on these top 20s, it's like Toshiro just like number one across, like top five across the board. So when I'm looking at it like that, it's like that dude's gonna win. It's like it's so clear that this guy that it is his to win, and then it's on like the community to recognize that. So good job on the community here for. I mean, Toshiro's a popular guy anyway, but he did deserve to win this one with how he was stacked up in the stats and how much time he's played. 22 maps played, all that sort of stuff. So it's good to see the community getting him right and like considering the stats also, and not just like, I like this guy over that guy. So
Yeah.
congrats to Hero. Good shit, dude. Raider Gator, also congrats. I'm glad both you guys decided to join this season, and I hope you're sticking around.
Definitely.
So anything else to say, guys, before we move on to our last vote category?
I think that about covers it.
All right. So last thing we have here is Most Vicious Dasher, what everyone's been waiting for.
Mhm.
Classic. This is
I
it.
wonder-
This is what we're here for, right?
Mhm. Yeah, so we've got Koala, as per usual, played very well this season. He's been in so many of these stat categories. He's got that name brand recognition, but Sugarcane going head to head with Koala had a
That's pretty crazy.
very impressive season with 12 a.m. here.
Yeah.
And so it's I mean, Most Vicious Dasher isn't it, like, let's be clear, stats are really important here, but like this is a vote category. This is about who you think played and slayed out for their team the most. Both of these guys did very well in that respect. Who ended up taking the most votes here? That is the question.
Let's go ahead and see it. I think I know what the answer is going to be, but let's just confirm that it will be Koala from Envy, which is, I mean, no surprises there. Koala has been the best player in the league basically since Rekko trained him, and
Yeah.
Rekko blew out this category before him. Koala has put in an ungodly. I mean, I'm sure if we saw the time played from Koala's headset, it would like blow the minds of
Right.
most players. Absolutely insane. But, Sugarcane beating out Pancake. I mean, Pancake and Koala were neck and neck for so many of these awards. And then Sugarcane comes out here and is, beating Pancake up here for MVD.
Mhm.
That's a pretty big deal. If I was Sugarcane, knowing that I was up against Koala is like, I would be like so fucking honored. Like, Koala is like on a whole different level to 99. Literally anybody who isn't named Koala. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just look at these stats. You just see that it's crazy. I mean, so the total map played, Sugarcane played 6 more maps, which is a huge deal. That means he was a huge help to his team. I think 26 maps is probably near the maximum amount of maps that you can play for the season. And so the push seconds almost identical, 269 to 261. The Sugarcane taking more counters and more captures, but then more score. Geez, but the kills per minute. I mean, 3.6 coming from Sugarcane and 4.22 coming from Envy. That's not from Koala. That's not a huge difference, to be honest, when it comes to kills per minute. I mean, again, that means almost 4 people a minute coming out of Sugarcane, which is I don't think I'm capable of that.
Yeah, that's also Sugarcane dealing with that Alaska internet, like Laggy
Right.
used to have
Yeah.
too. And Laggy got MVD runner up, I think, season 2. But also, I mean, congrats Sugarcane for getting up there. Congrats Koala for winning. This might be Koala's third. I think so. I think Rekko won the first 3, Koala won 2, and then D took that season off, and then .com won, and so now Koala's back for his third.
Yeah, I think so.
But also, we got to shout out the other players who really deserved to be up in the running here. Evil Pancake, of course. When we look at all the per minute stats, and it's just Koala and Evil Pancake, that tells me like those two should be like top 2 running for like MVD. And Sugarcane, of course, is deserving, as is Sandman. I mean, Sandman was absolutely shredding it this season, and he ultimately was on the team that won the championship. So his team beat Koala's team. Koala's team had 2 former D players who were just when D plays, there's no question. It's like, okay, season over when D plays. So mad props to Sandman also for carrying that team to a championship. And this I would say this season was, as far as the MVD contest goes, this season was probably the most wide open I think it probably ever has been as to like who would win this. So again, congrats Koala, winning your I think your third one this time around.
Congratulations.
Congrats,
All
everybody.
right, anything to top off the vote categories at all, or are we ready to move on?
I think we're good to go.
I think we're good to go.
So last thing we have here, we'll top off the show with this. Is we're going to reveal the All-Stars and talk about those a little bit. So real quick, so when we do the All-Stars, we take the 10 people who get the most votes on the ballots, and then the board will pick 4 people that we think are deserving but might not get the votes typically, or someone that we feel that got snubbed that absolutely needed to be in there but didn't get it. So the board takes a little bit of like leniency on who we put. Yeah, we throw a little board bias behind.
We'll be clear. Everybody jokes about board bias, but we can have a little bias as a treat, every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, this is the one. This is the one thing that like where the board gets to put their thumbprint on things, and I think most of the like the actual sports leagues do the same thing. Because I got this from the NBA, in that they'll do the vote for the All-Stars, but then the coaches get together and they name, I think, I don't know, a number of more All-Stars to put onto each team, and I think that's to catch players who got snubbed for whatever reason. If you have some player who's like wildly, because I think in the NBA, like everyone is you can vote for anybody. So if you have some player that's just wildly popular but might not be the best, they'll still get a ton of votes. And like, all right, they let that guy in, but this guy really deserved to have that spot. We'll put him in, whatever. So there's some of that where we think we're covering for a snub, but there's also some like a lot of times we'll put a Southern Cross player in there. And the Southern Cross players have a tough time really being able to match up stat-wise, per minute stats and all that sort of stuff with the rest of the league, because half of what the Australian players on, like half of what they have to play on is 200 plus ping. Whereas, you see, so I get pulled into negotiation threads in like Southern Cross threads where people are like, they're trying to force us to play on these servers and with these bad conditions. It's like, dude, you have to do it this one match against Southern Cross. They have to do it every match. So it's something like, so we on the board, we see that, we respect that. And we're like, that's one of those guys should be in there, especially this season. Southern Cross finishing, I think, 4th during the regular season, which is their highest final placement ever. So we threw a Southern Cross player in there, had to get one in there, but we also throw some players in there who like, they had the numbers to do it, and let's let this person enjoy an All-Star game, just kind of like that. So anyway, let's see who we pulled in for the All-Stars and the reserves.
Voted in.
All right. Yeah. Gollum, you want to go down that?
I'll just read off the names from the top. .com, Evil Pancake, F2P, Hog Rider 673, Koala, Mini Turret, Rusty, Sandman, Servoid, and Sugarcane were the 10 voted.
Yeah, and the board selected, just to throw it in, we got 8 Aaron, Baron, Money, Rapscallion, and Spud. Some really good players here. Man, these are some big names that I'm seeing right now. I'm so happy to see F2P up there. F2P on life, just, if I can throw in my own team bias, like F2P is a monster, man. And right. I feel like he has never gotten the recognition that he really needs. But like, obviously, Koala, EP make it. .com is a disgustingly like good player. I mean, just like all these great players coming in here, and Rapscallion from Sticks, like you were mentioning, coming in. I really like all these names. I think these are definitely a good representation of some of the best names in the league right now. And let me just throw in a little bit of board bias. I've won All-Stars every season, and they didn't put me on the ballot for this one, so I'm leaving the league, I think.
Got to play more games, motherfucker.
I think the board is trying to silence me, and we need an uprising. We need it back. We're
saying, Willow, your 3 maps is 3 maps too many. Get the fuck out, bro.
I'll write
Get outta
Mr.
here.
Head Mod.
Unbelievable.
talking about
Hashtag
getting
Willow
silent.
writes. Willow writes.
Yeah. So
Um,
that's the names. That's the names.
Yeah, well, one thing about this, just as a reminder, we only take 2 players per team for the All Stars. Otherwise, seasons back, like when you had D and Arc and Team Name
D
or
would
whatever,
just be
it
half
would
the
just
team.
be
Yeah.
Yeah.
they would be players from those 3 teams. So you gotta cap it somewhere. So obviously, so we got 2 players from Control that got voted in, and I think, and UNSC had 2
Mhm.
players voted in.
That's right.
And so
And
as
life,
far as like the
yeah.
board selected players, Baron, he just had the stats. He was one of those that looked like maybe a snub. He had the stats. He played really well this season, and he came in last season post roster lock because we banned the player on Envy, and they're like, "Can we recruit someone?" I'm like, "Yeah, but it has to be a new player." And they go and pull Baron out of there. It's like, oh my god, he a new player that is like is good enough to be on Envy. It's like, fuck,
Yeah.
they
Really
pulled
saved
the
him.
diamond in the rough. So Baron, great player. Money we put in there. He had a good season with Sky, and so Money's kind of like enjoy an All-Star game, bro. Happy to have you in there. Rapscallion, of course, is that Southern Cross player I was talking about. He usually doesn't get voted in, and we usually have to put him in. But this dude he's always very high in the
In all
KD.
sorts of stat categories, but
All
yeah, I mean,
sorts of
KD's
stats,
a big
yeah.
one.
But KD, which is like the one that people key in on the most, I think. Raps, I think he was 1.5, and which is like up there among the tops. He's top 5, top 10
Yeah, you
KD.
play half your
And
games at
that's
200 ping, and you get
exactly
1.5 kills per death.
yeah. Imagine having to play half your games at like 200 ping and see where your stats end up.
Yeah.
So Rapscallion, I mean, if he were like a central US player to where he had a decent ping all the way into Europe and all the way into like Sydney or whatever, I really wonder how high that dude would be in these, in all the stats and the votes and stuff, if
Mhm.
he just had more favorable sort of geographical location, I guess.
Right.
So
And
very
Spud.
well deserved. This is like maybe Rap's 3rd or 4th time being in, and
Yes.
he should just be there all the time. Spud also had a great season. Deserved to be put in there. I think he's, Baron and Spud, not necessarily that they were snubbed, because this list of players that are in there are the players that should be in there. But that they're also really, of course, Rap's also, that they're just deserving. They should
They
be
deserve to be
all
mentioned.
stars.
Yeah.
We just didn't have enough space in the vote, whatever. So there you go. That's the reasoning behind all those guys. So now that we have these all stars announced, once this Dashcast drops, we will then put out a ballot for the secondary all stars. So we always do that secondary all stars thing, and we have to wait until we drop the primary all stars so that we know who to exclude from the secondary all star ballot. So you won't see .com or Evil Pancake, F2P, those guys on the secondary all star ballot because they're already all stars. So be watching for that secondary all star ballot to drop so you can vote on everybody. And for the secondary all stars, there's no qualifiers, except I will put on a map qualifier. You're not playing an all-star game unless you played in a bunch of maps for your team. You're not an all-star if you played one map. Sorry, Willow. You're not an all-star if you played 3 maps. So there will be a map qualifier for the secondary, just because you have to put the time in, because all-star is sort of like it's like a mini MVD sort of thing. It's like these players are players who are super important to their team, who drive their team to success. And that, that's the sort of thought behind that. So anyway, I guess unless anyone else has something to toss in, Goose, if you have anything to cap it off with or whatever. My voice is going because I've been talking so much, you'd be coughing all over the place. So if you guys have anything to say to wrap it up.
I mean, just a reminder about the casting. We harped on it for quite a while, but it's worth mentioning again. If you want to be a caster or a commentator or both, these are the people to reach out for. We have everything in place to try and help you out. And we have tons of people who have been in your position if you're nervous about this being a new thing to you and not having the experience. None of us had experience when we started, or very few of us, right? And it's important for everybody in all of the league to try and get these matches casted. And clearly that helps with the community. You can become one of the many pillars of this community by joining us in or behind the booth. So be sure to reach out if you're interested.
All right.
There we go. Team effort. Get that trophy up on the table.
There we go.
There's the MVD trophy for Koala.
Woo.
Well deserved.
Well, yep, I'm Koala.
You got the qualifications.
One last punch of the microphone for this dash cast. We'll call it there.
Yep.
Let's turn that alarm off. All right.
Hashtag Willow Rights.
Thanks
Let's
everyone
go.
for watching. Thanks to Willow, thanks to Gollum, thanks to Goose for putting it together. Thanks to Mr. V for helping us with our graphics on this one. But I'll say peace.
Woo! See you guys.